Hello and welcome to today's show. Today we're at St Werburgh's City Farm in Bristol to find out about spring.
Yep, for today's spring special, I'm going to be meeting some of the lambs they've just had born and learning how life is changing here on the farm.
But before we have a look at the lambs and all the animals, I went to speak to Polly from at Bristol to find out why we even have seasons. Hi Polly.
Hi.
So I'm here with Polly today and she's going to demonstrate to us the reason for our seasons. We're going to be using the globes which we made last week, so here's a quick recap of how we made them. For your paper mache globe you will need newspaper strips, a beach ball or balloon, PVA glue and water, acrylic paint and some paint pots and brushes. Paste newspaper strips onto your beach ball. When it's dry it should look something like this. Now it's ready to paint. And here's our finished globe. So Polly, why do we have spring, summer, autumn and winter?
Well, to explain why we have seasons, what we first need to understand is that the Earth isn't just straight up and down with the North Pole on the top and the South Pole at the bottom, as you might imagine. In fact, the Earth tilts slightly to one side.
Okay.
Now, if you could turn the lights off for me and switch on this torch.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks, Jess. Now, if you imagine that the torch is the sun, and we've got a red cross here where the UK is, and you can see the light hitting the globe. Now that shows energy hitting this part of the Earth. So if you could draw a circle around that circle of light.
Okay.
And this is what happens in winter when the North Pole is pointing away from the sun.
Okay, so how does this change in summer then?
Well, throughout the year, the Earth moves around the sun, but the North Pole always points in the same direction, towards the polar star. So in summer, the Earth will be over here, pointing towards the sun. So if you can now draw a circle around this new patch of light, so you can see that this is a much smaller circle, and that means that the energy and the light and the heat is more concentrated. And we have to share this energy with a much smaller area, which means we get more for ourselves and we get hotter temperatures in summer.
Okay, so what about spring and autumn then?
Well, spring and autumn is in between the two. So the circle would be in the middle and we'd get temperatures that are milder and in between temperatures of summer and winter.
And what about if the Earth wasn't tilted at all?
If the Earth wasn't tilted at all, it was straight up and down, then the angle wouldn't change as the Earth moved around the sun, and the patch of light would stay at the same size. This means that the temperatures would be the same all year round.
Okay, so we'd end up having no seasons at all. There wouldn't be any snow at Christmas and we probably wouldn't have very hot summers either.
Exactly.
Brilliant, thanks very much for your help, Polly. And remember, if you'd like to try this yourselves at home, all of the details are on the website.
Now we're in luck because they've just had some lambs born last week. So I'm going to go meet Tim and he's going to tell us all about how animals cope with spring. Spring is definitely coming and that means lots of changes for everyone, including everyone here at the farm, with these little fellas being no exception. Joining me here today we've got Tim from the farm. And Tim, how are these little guys doing now?
These little guys are doing reasonably well at the moment. They had a pretty bad start in life. They're orphan lambs. Their mum died just after she gave birth.
Oh no.
They didn't get the first milk from their mum, which carries all the antibodies, so they've had a bit of a struggle for the last 10 days, but we look like we're turning a corner and hopefully everything should be okay and they should start putting some weight on now.
So why is spring so important for lambing?
As the sun comes out now, brings up the sugar levels in the grass, and you've got peak quality grass now from spring all the way through to autumn.
But how do plants get their energy? I went to speak to Jess, the local plant expert, to find out. Jess, what plants have you got for us?
These are narcissi plants, which are like little daffodils.
And what changes are these plants going through?
Well, these plants are bulbs, which means that underneath the soil they've got these big bulbs that they've stored lots of energy in last year, and that store of energy helps them to start growing very early in the spring.
Okay, why is spring such a good time for these plants to come out?
it means that the trees aren't in leaf, and so they've got access to more of the light, which means that they can make energy from the sun before the trees come into leaf.
So that's why spring is good for plants. But what good is sugar in grass when the lambs are still drinking their mother's milk?
The sweeter the grass, the nicer the grass, the better quality of the feed, the more milk they're going to produce. The more milk they produce, the better the lamb's going to grow.
Excellent. How do these little guys stay warm?
These two are under a bit of a heat lamp only because of their bad start. Generally they're fine. Lambs are born with enough sugar levels in their blood to maintain their body heat for the first 2 hours.
So what are the babies you have coming to the farm?
Well, we've got old Jacob over there who is due to lamb, I would estimate probably in the next 24 to 48 hours. We've got 3 goats down the bottom which are due from about the 2nd week in April. We've got 2 calves on the farm which are 4 months old at the moment. And that will be it for spring, and then later on in the summer we'll have the pigs having piglet.
Let's look back at what we covered in today's programme.
Polly showed us how the angle of the Earth's axis is responsible for changing seasons. In winter, when it leans away from the sun, warmth is shared over a larger area, so temperatures drop. In summer, the opposite happens, and of course, spring comes between the two.
Lambs are born in spring, when they can stay warm and their mothers have lots of fresh grass to feed on. Well-fed mothers make better milk for their babies. By the time summer is over, the lambs will be big and strong and have thick wool for winter.
So Will, how were the lambs?
They were adorable.
I can imagine.
What about you? What was your favourite thing here at the farm?
I think the ducks, actually. The ones right behind us. They're having a bit of a sleep now, but they were cracking about earlier.
They were pretty little happy fellas. So, just want to say thanks to everyone here at the farm.
And thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.